The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. And what else do we have going on out here today? Well, we got a market that is trying to pull back a little bit. Right now, 2097.5 on the S&P cash. Not a lot of volume again today, 1.9 billion shares. But the market's been kind of indecisive today. Tried to go positive for a little while. Of course, this is the second day of options rollover. Probably the most interesting thing is we can't find anybody to short this market. At least the old Mr. VIX is telling us that this is the first time in a long while, probably over a year and a half, that we didn't see, or we haven't seen shorts roll in on a pullback in the market. And that is counterintuitive. Basically, shorts slow down any pullback because, of course, they're basically covering on the way back down. But at the same time, they offer the energy when you get a pop to move the market up yet to another higher level. Now, we don't have energy on the way down yet. But yesterday, we had one of the few times where selling came in at the close, and not just a flat sell, but really people starting to get short this market. Or I wouldn't say short, but getting out of the market. And we may be a ways away from having a pullback, but at least we're starting to see at least a few people pull back. Now, if it would have been just options expiration related with our quad witching from Friday and a lot of other things, we would have not seen just action at the close that way. So, you know, if you see something last 30 minutes of the day, it's no doubt probably a market on close order from one of the big places of the street. And, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post a message in the den if you would like me to talk about something.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1777, U.S. foreign debt is born as the Farmers General of France, a group that collects taxes from French citizens on salt, tobacco, and other products, agrees to lend the United States 2 million livres. Is it livres? Livres? Who knows? I thought they're francs now. I don't know what livres were. Approximately $381,000 at the time. The loan is repayable in bales of tobacco on this day in 1977. And if you're interested in financial history, you can always go to Jason Zellwig's website that I have listed here, and you can check out all the history of this day. As they say, if you don't know your history, then you are bound to repeat it. And there is nothing that is more common on Wall Street than repetition, because people have personalities, and those personalities as a group tend to remain rather sticky throughout time. Everybody thinks that we're always that much smarter than people that came before us, and we routinely prove them wrong. So know your history so you don't have to say you didn't expect it this time, or it's different this time. Anyway, Airbnb, there's a bunch of these, what they call unicorns, and that's above $1 billion in assumed value. But a lot of these Airbnbs and Ubers and Lyfts are having fairly decent evaluations. Airbnb, of course, is a rental for houses for short term, kind of like making hotels or condominiums out of them. Very popular in New York and San Francisco, where there are not cheap places to rent. And of course, a lot of people don't like people coming in renting if they're in homes, your neighbors. And of course, San Francisco passed some pretty draconian laws trying to get rid of Airbnb. And basically, it's a home rental service. But it's basically they passed some laws, but the city's finding these laws unenforceable. It's a mess now. We're going to have to clean it up, says San Francisco Supervisor David Campos, a longtime critic of Airbnb, as quoted in the San Francisco Chronicle report. And I would say critic is putting it mildly. This guy hates anybody coming in. And I don't know what else you can say. But the most for a city that is supposed to be the most caring and giving and accepting, they tend to be the absolute worst when it comes to something like you're renting your house next door to me. But what can you say? What it does mean is that it's going to be pretty tough or a lot tougher to probably regulate Airbnb than it is Lyft and Uber for these new round of unicorns that are probably going to go public either late this year or early next year, or at least that's what they're thinking. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of meat left on the bone on these, and I don't think there's a 10-to-1 on any of these once they come public. If you got 100% profit on these after you'd held them for several years, I would be surprised. And again, there was a big man of the venture capital system. I'll look it back up. I may find it here during the break, who is basically saying that the bubble is in now for these pre-IPO companies, and your best bet would be short them as soon as they become public. Of course, that's problematic at best, but I suspect we're going to see a lot of these things come out at huge levels and tank fairly quickly. And at that point, maybe they may be a 10-to-1. Airbnb, popular in DC and anywhere where there's a lot of traffic, high rental rates, and high rates for basically housing. So, there's probably not a bigger bubble in housing and real estate right now than in San Francisco because of all this IPO money. And there's a few ETFs that go after digital rentals. That is housing and office space in San Francisco. And I've been watching that ETF. When these things start to break, I suspect that's going to be one of the big downside plays in San Francisco. Before, in 2000, we had a host on TFNN, and I can't remember his name right now. I think he went insane. I mean, literally went insane on the air one day, and he hadn't been back. But I'm trying to remember his name now. He went and bought huge amounts of real estate in the crash of 2002 and 3, and never heard much back from him after that. I don't know if anybody remembers who I'm talking about, but very interesting. Of course, there was a plane crash in an Airbus 320 this morning, and to see just how fast a market reacts when bad news comes, this is a chart of Lufthansa, which is a German company, and I don't have the equivalent chart here. I think there's an ADR in the United States, but I didn't bother looking for it. What you do see is basically this thing taking a 8% drop in about 3 minutes after we found out that the plane crashed. Have kind of a fairly decent interest in plane crashes, not morbidly, but one of the jobs my dad as an Air Force colonel had was running accident investigations, and most of these pretty much parallel exactly what you see today in the FAA here in the United States. And that is almost a year will go by, and then the final report will come out. And they try not to jump to too many conclusions. But what you do know, and what I do know, is reading, I think he had about 15 different crash investigations over the years. and if someone crashed an Air Force jet, he'd get a phone call, and he'd fly his own jet to the closest place and be on scene to run the investigation. But I ended up reading most of his published reports once they came out. And it's never one thing. It's always, I think probably the stock market's very close to it. It's never one single thing. It's always a combination of factors that almost always went in. In fact, I think he had one accident where 17 different things had to happen for the plane to crash. And they all had to pretty much happen in the same order. If one happened before the other, there wouldn't have been any crash. And there's tends to be a lot of that in the stock market. A lot more luck than anybody would ever think, but also in these investigations, at least from the report so far, not an easy thing to figure out what happened, other than the fact that this thing was flying along on a short, less than 2-hour flight, and it started down at about 3,000 feet per minute. If you've ever been in a small plane, normally you want to keep your movements to about 500 feet per minute. At 3,000 feet per minute, it's not uncommon to see jets come in for a landing, especially in big, busy airports, at something approaching maybe 2,000 feet per minute or 2,500 feet per minute. But 3,000 feet per minute, pretty fast, but not crashing. And the question is, what happened? Normally, when you see something like that happen at altitude, it's rapid depressurization. The pilots put on their oxygen masks. The people in back have little canisters above your head where those oxygen masks break out, and you've got, once you pull it, you've got about 10, maybe 15 minutes of oxygen coming out of those canisters. The flight crew, I think, is supposed to have 45 minutes of oxygen, which they had plenty. But it may be something as simple as they came down to the altitude they thought that they needed to be at, but didn't pay any attention to the mountains and ran right into one. But we'll probably find out within a couple of days. They've already found the flight recorder. But kind of a parable. A lot of times people think that there's one single thing that goes wrong, but normally it's 2 or 5 or 10 things that happen before you have a major crash. And maybe the same thing in the stock market out there. What else do we have going on out here? The Greeks, of course, I think a little bit of what we're seeing now is a little bit of problems with the Greek problem coming back. The reason I think this is probably a bigger issue than you would think is there was some pretty nasty name calling by the Greeks to the Germans. We'll talk about that when we come back. Hint, it revolves around World War II.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. We're going to go right to our caller which is Nick. And how you doing today, Nick, in Florida?
Yourself?
Fantastic. In Titusville. How's business over there in Titusville with all the space business that has left? Still busy?
Oh, they're opening up new stores left and right.
Yeah, so business is coming back.
Right.
That's good. So you want to look at FCX?
Yeah, they cut their dividend. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, they cut the dividend because, of course, cash is not coming in. So cash is not going to go out. I have a feeling I've been very nervous about what's happening in all these commodity spaces, but no more than the metals. And I still think they have a very limited upside as long as the dollar is strong in this market. You got kind of a 1-2 punch out here along with that, but you're going to see this is kind of a slow-moving stock. You're probably going to see pressure on this, I would expect, over the next couple of months. Funds that depended on that dividend are probably going to slowly start exiting. You don't have a lot of movement yet today, but I would imagine over time they're going to think that it is going to continue to be pulled back and the dividend will be lower. And a lot of there's specialty funds that really revolve around stocks like FCX that are dividend based. And I would imagine that they'll start getting out of this. So probably going to be under some pressure for a while. Do you own a stock, or you want to buy it, or you want to sell it?
No, I was thinking of buying it.
I would say that there are probably going to be much better choices out there if you think you want to go long any of these metals. And that's it. You're going to need to wait until any funds that presumably would get out, and there are a bunch of them. I think this one I looked earlier, I should have written it down, but there are a handful of rather large funds that have a large percentage of this that are basically funds that give cash back from the dividends, and they'll probably either get rid of or severely curtail the amount of shares they have of the stock. So I would imagine that if you wanted to buy this thing, you want to be looking at the first point is $16.43.
How much?
$16.43.
I see.
You got a 33 million share low down there. What you want is probably stocks that have a lot better ability to, I would say, bang for the buck. And it's actually holding in up fairly well today, but that's not uncommon of what you saw today, which is a drop in the dividend. And I've seen this, especially in big stocks, like in the past when IBM has dropped its dividend, or some of the other big stocks. In tech stocks, it doesn't seem to be such a big deal. But especially if you're talking about old industrial stocks, manufacturing stocks, when they start dropping their dividend, I'd say there's about a 90% correlation that the prices continue to go lower for a while. So I would take this off my radar for a while long. Even at 1643, you may see this thing languish for a while.
Doesn't this have weekly options that expire Friday?
I would imagine. Hold on a second. Let's take a quick look at options. Let's see. You got March 27th options. What are you thinking about? Puts or calls?
Just buying calls. But
Yeah.
now with the dividend cut, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say, like I said, this thing's probably going to nickel and dime you down lower until it gets to that 1643. So I don't think that you've got much. Let's see what you got out here. Let's say 1850s are about a little over $1. So probably not a great, well, it's not bad. That gives you about $1 of risk, but you know, at the money are about 50 cents. So I just don't see this thing going any higher anytime soon. So
Okay.
I would say that there are much better opportunities out there in other metals. That this one's. Have you ever heard the term dead money?
Yep.
There's just not enough movement up or down, possibly in this thing, I think, in the near future. So I look
Okay.
at it as, I think this thing could just tick down for the next 2 weeks to 1643. So just probably stay away. Much better, faster horses out there. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You bet.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Off the S&P cash in a little over 2 billion shares. Again, options rollover, so I'm not putting a huge amount into this, but certainly looks to me like there's a few things going on in this market that are very weird, and that is that as the market goes down, I'm looking at the inputs and the options on the S&P, and it doesn't look like anybody is thinking about buying S&P downside protection, which is that's kind of counterintuitive. That would say that maybe we've got a little bit more room to the downside until the bears wake up. But so far, not a lot of volume, and certainly the premiums on the out-of-the-money puts and calls on the S&P are basically at ridiculous levels. And got to keep an eye on that. Doesn't mean they're wrong, but does mean that they're wrong a few times. Had some mail during the break.
I got mail. Yay! I got mail. Yay!
And the question was how big a indicator is dropping your dividend in the future. And I'm going to say it's probably 80%. There's only a few things that rank anywhere close to 80, 90, or 95% in the stock market. And that one of them is dropping dividends and seeing extendedly lower prices for months to come. Another one is that's almost 95% is a reverse split. If you have to reverse split your stock, i.e., take it from 50 cents and make each stock 10 stocks worth shares worth one. It used to be almost 2 years. There was almost 95% of the companies were out of business in the next 2 years, and that and dropping your dividends, pretty good examples of things where it's fairly unambiguous. You don't have the cash. The next step is to do something like we saw this morning, which was WLL. When you come out and have a fairly significant operation in the stock, to get out of it, run the shorts out of it, and get short yourself, and then drop the bomb, which is, of course, that they will be issuing a ton of new stocks in Whiting Petroleum. But either they have to do something. They have to drop dividends. They're going to have to issue more shares. They're going to have to do different things. And the bigger companies, is it a big deal if you drop your dividend nickel? Not at the beginning, but I'll guarantee you Wall Street has a thing called the Roach theory. They see one, they figure there are 100 more under the counter. And if you drop it a nickel, they figure you're going to drop it 50 cents or all the way. And it's kind of the personality of Wall Street. Either things are good getting better or bad getting worse. And if you're dropping your dividend, they're bad getting worse. And why I would say probably stay away from FCX for a while. The odds are just pretty huge that you're on the wrong side of a northbound cow on that one. We were talking during in the news about the Greeks, and quietly behind the curtains, apparently the Greeks refer to the people from Berlin as Nazis. Yes, the N word, not the one we're thinking of, the other one. In public, they took to basically beating them over the head with that and saying that they should just give the Greeks a bunch of money for war reparations from 75 years ago. Don't think that's going to go too far. And from what I read in the German papers, pretty much ticked off the populace and made it probably a whole lot harder for is she a prime minister? I never can remember. She's not a president. I think she's prime minister. To actually push anything through. So they may have made their case even worse today by bringing up the past when the Germans, who own about 80% of all of Europe, if you're asking for cash, I think you pretty much go on your knees and act humble and contrite. They are kind of acting like, well, I can't say it, can I? Trying to think of another word I would say. Can't say that one. Okay, just not acting smart. I'll have to leave it at that. But yes, the old Nazis have been dusted off again in the thing, which tells me that they are none too happy in the new communist regime of Greece. And like I said before, these guys are not halfway communists. This is full tilt communist, dyed-in-the-wool believers. And there's two things you can say about socialists and communists that are true believers. Communist starts with a gun to your head, and socialist ends with a gun to your head. I'm looking for bigger problems there, as when the promises pre-election can't be held out, what these folks do. These are the kind probably to stage and get the military behind them to retain power. This is not your nice commie. This is your dyed-in-the-wool commie. So keep an eye on them. Boeing has won a patent for a protective force field, like you saw in Lost in Space, Star Wars, all the other ones out there. And when you start thinking that, is this really a thing, or is it BS, bovine excrement? The answer is this is kind of a real deal. It's not like they have in the movies, but it would give a huge protective shield for a short amount of time. It's radar active. So if someone saw somebody shoot something at you, like a truck, it would put up a field in a particular direction that would plasmatize all the gas in front of it. And if you don't know what plasma is, it's fourth state of matter. And basically, it gets everything so hot that the electrons can no longer stick to the nucleus of the atom. And so you get this incredible soup that does a variety of things, depending on what you want it to do. In the case of fluorescent light bulbs, you'll see it kick out a whole bunch of light. What they're going to do, though, is make something that would hit it. So it would basically set off like an RPG far before it ever hit whatever it was protecting, a tank or a truck or a facility, and really at least degrade the potential for those kind of things to hurt our loved ones that are serving us, and basically places here. But it is a real thing. Boeing has been awarded a patent, and apparently they've been quietly showing off this device around places. So more Star Wars stuff coming out, inventions all over the place. It is a mad market. And as we said, it is a variety of things coming out. I asked Andy Heck earlier about seeing an article about whether or not you could really see a huge move in crude once we fill up everything. And didn't really get an answer. Maybe he'll answer on his show today whether or not we could physically run out of storage here in the United States before people shut off the oil wells sending stuff to them. You'd think that they know that there was no place to ship it, so that they just turn the oil well off. So that you never really, while you may be out of storage, it's not going to be like there's 14 ships headed to port and nobody knows where to offload these things. I would assume that they know that there's no more storage, and that would happen. But what else can you say? We're going to look at some other stocks very quickly. What else did I have? Of course, home sales looked fairly good this morning. That was probably a little bit, the comps were not something that you would want to rave about. But if you look at the ITB, which is the Dow Jones U.S. Home Construction Index, you've got two signals out here that look rather weak. First is that you had the January 13th spike out here with 18 million shares. Tried to get through it on the 24th of February with 4.3 million shares. Last 3 days, we've been back up against this level again with 4.6 million shares, 1.6 million shares yesterday, 3.4 million shares today. And it looks like there's a lot of resistance to try to get through some of these higher levels. And that's what I'm watching today, among some other things. Ambev is another one of these stocks. We talked about this a great deal last week in that this had tested lower volumes. And again, you got the little bounce out of this thing. When we were talking about it last week, I was keying off the September 16th low at $5.56 with 17 million shares. This thing tried to break out of the bottom with 9.5 million shares, got back into trading range, and it's back up. And not a bad move from $5.51 to a little over $6, but I didn't see enough in that for me to pull the trigger on it. But for the most part, we've got stocks testing highs on lighter volume and stocks testing lows on lower volume. It looks to me like the market wants to pull back a little bit, and we're going to have a lot of sector rotation. Ambev, of course, selling alcohol and kind of a fear trade out here. So you want to keep an eye on Ambev as to really whether or not people are willing to rotate out of some of the high flyers into these sin stocks like tobacco and alcohol. ABEV is the symbol on that. Crane Company, and this one's kind of interesting as it's one of the best looking stocks out here. CR is the symbol on this. Let me pull up a quick one. Don't know a lot about this fluid handling, payment, and merchandising technologies, aerospace, electronics, and engineered materials. Fluid handling, kind of interesting. Anyway, nice little pop. I think that was on earnings on the 9th of February. Popped up a huge sign of strength with 5 million shares. And, of course, back into this with 400,000 shares yesterday and 200,000 shares today. Probably not many stocks out here with this kind of risk reward. But you would think, especially this morning, this thing may have wanted a pop out here, and I'm not seeing any follow through on it. Hersha Hospitality Trust. This one's up against a high volume high from March 2nd at $6.89 that had 2.7 million shares. I had this one in my newsletter this morning, and kind of interesting to see that we did see that volume up here testing the highs with less than half, well, almost 1/3 the volume, and popped right back into the trading range. Energy on this way up, not all that bad. And of course, I'm not shorting $10 stocks or $7 stocks, but interesting. The other thing is just how well these solar stocks are going. Everybody and their dog on CNBC is pushing these solar stocks. I wanted to see how this actually went up against the November 24th high of Jinko Solar. $25.57, 1.9 million shares. So we're breaking that yesterday and today. Yesterday, 1.1 million shares. Today, 878,000 shares. So we're seeing a lot of false breakouts, both to the upside and the downside in these markets. The other thing that had me kind of interesting, I thought was interesting at least, is lumber liquidators may be making some kind of low out here. The reason why, just about no volume up against the previous March 9th low, $27.79, 14 million shares. Yesterday, 4.2 million shares. Today, just 3 million shares so far, and even up a little bit on the day. So some of these things may have washed out on the bottom, and some may have washed out on the top. LPNT, another one out here testing the highs, LifePoint Hospitals Incorporated. LPNT, the symbol on this one. The August 22nd high had basically 430,000 shares. He had a sign of strength you could almost call as the high at 1.6 million shares. But let's just take it on the lightest volume possible and be the most generous. $76.50. Went through it yesterday with 400,000 shares, so just matched it. But again, pulling back into the trading range on this one too. So a lot of these things just kind of look like they're range bound. I've got a sneeze, so hang on. And I'm back. And thank for the sneeze report. And I am truly blessed. Other stocks out here that I find very interesting, especially in the realm of housing, is just how locked to housing these bed companies are. Apparently, you buy a bed when you buy your house, and that's it. And maybe you buy another one later on, but almost always an impotence to throw away the mattress you have now. This one's up testing a previous high, October 30th, 1.8 million shares. 900,000 shares a couple of days ago. This thing's back in here. Like I said, a lot of range-bound looking stocks. We'll be back in a
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Had somebody email me the Wikipedia page on Alex. I don't know how to pronounce Greek names. Tsipras. All I remember is when he was running for the office that I watched like a 30-minute thing on him. I think it was on CNN, and it went through his early life and why he may not say he's communist. I don't think leopards change their spots very often, and saw his early life, and just because he doesn't have or is part of the Communist Party, I don't think he changed his views from his early days and what he did. And so pretty much, I think I'm going to leave him in the Communist Party, even if he's not part of their Communist Party out there. Other things going on. We got more mail out here. Okay, could you give me a quick X? Okay, quick. And it's Larry from Detroit says, first off, nice call on a couple of days of pullback. Would you give me a quick take on X, United States Steel? I just don't see anything other than we've got some high volume lows out here that have not been tested in a lot of these commodity stocks. And in the case of United States Steel, you got the $20.13 low out here from January 26th, 12 million shares, and that has not been tested. So you want that tested, and probably a high chance that it does get tested, at least if it's not 2013, then 2050, the candle the day before that had that 18 million shares. But, you can say you came into that, but I'm basically making a call now that I think the dollar has seen its low for a while, and I think that low is about 96.20, 25, something like that on the dollar index. And I think we're going to meander away for a while. That the Fed did its job in trying to jawbone the dollar. It's going to work for a little while, and eventually the path of least resistance is higher in the dollar, and we are going higher. But I think we could probably see a few months where we see 96.20 and $100 as a range. Doesn't mean that we don't break out next week, because the longer term view is that the dollar goes much higher and goes to par with Europe. And I suspect we're going to start seeing a lot of the other currencies really start pitching in on that dollar index and see us go even higher than that. Just killing QE, I think, was enough to really start this market in the dollar higher. And I don't know, I just see too many other problems where you'd want to be in the dollar and not get out of it. But we shall see. But I think this time next week, we're probably looking at 98s in the dollar, if it isn't already today. How much time we have left? We've got about a minute. So let's take a quick look how we exit at least the 3 o'clock or 2 to 3 o'clock hour. 2096 on the S&P 500, which is off 8.5 points, 2.2 billion shares. So volume continues to be light. I suspect we're going to see 2090 tested either before the end of today or tomorrow. And that's probably going to on the S&P cash, and that's going to tell us whether or not we're going to get a bounce out of this market. I still very much dislike the fact that no one's shorting here. That means that you could have some quick moves to the downside without anybody to cover them. So watch out for increased volatility, not diminished volatility. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. So when you can, not when you have to.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.